We are into the double digits now, friends. We are on day 10 of the 12 days of Stitchmas, and let's take a look what die set we have today. Nice, I like this one. This is kind of a vintage kind of ornament looking, and it's nice and large. So this one is really simple because it is just the outline die, and then you have your stitching insert for the middle so you can cut it with or without the stitching. But look how pretty that stitch detail is. It's really nice. And then you have your ornament topper. So all together, the ornament itself is almost 3 inches, and then you put the topper on. So this is a pretty large die cut that you would be putting on your card. So I'm going to cut this out of a few different colors to take a look and see how I want to arrange this card. Okay, so I've gone with the color scheme of Pink Lemonade, Sweet Pea, and Juniper from Concord and 9th. I have a brand new product from scrapbook.com that I'm using here. It's a magic mat that fits the Spellbinders Scout machine. So if this is not yet out, be sure to hit the notify me button. You can find the link to this in my video description below, but I'm really excited to have the magic mat that fits the Scout. And I'm just going to run this through my Scout. Look at that amazing detail there. All of those little debossed lines, and it's just going to be such a really fun one to stitch. I'm going to cut the other 2 colors out with just the outline without the stitching detail so that only my center ornament will be stitched. The next thing I've grabbed are the new Lisa Horton holiday background panels, and these are press plates that you can use with your BetterPress or with foil. Today I'm going to use the BetterPress. Now these are smaller, they're not A2 size, and they come in a 4-pack, which is really cool. But what I'm going to do here is create kind of panels of these by doing one color at a time on my BetterPress paper. So I'm going to put this on the A2 section here. Next, I'm going to ink this up with Cruise BetterPress ink. And I'm going to put this down and run it through my Platinum 6. Okay, let's take a look at how this turned out. Wow, look at how pretty that is. I love it. So I'm going to do the same thing, but just turn it this way so that I have the same thing on the opposite side of my card. All right, let's see this one. Look how fun that is. So you notice when you flip the paper over, the pattern does not match up. But if you're putting something in the center of your card, you won't notice anyway. So if I have all of these kind of lining the center, you won't notice at all. I think that that is a great idea. Let's go with this. Before I go any further, I can't forget to cut out the tops of my ornaments, and I'm doing that with the rose gold cardstock from Concord and 9th because it is a really, really pink kind of rose gold, and it will go really perfectly with the pink hues that I've chosen for my ornaments. Before I start stitching, I want to add some ink blended detail to the outside of my ornaments because if these were in real life, they would look darker on the edges and lighter in the center because of their shape. So I want to give them more of a lifelike quality. So I'm using the same color ink as the cardstock just to give it a little bit of light ink blending around those edges just on the outside. And I'm going to do that with all 3 of my ornaments. So look at what that added to those. It really gives them more dimension. It makes them look less paper-like. Now it's time to go ahead and stitch on our stitching die cut. The floss that I'm using for this one is E168 from DMC, and it is a metallic. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the center first. This is one where there are 3 distinct areas of stitching, so you really need to start with one, finish with one, and go to the next one. The most important thing is that I can go ahead and thread this. So I'm putting this here. I'm going to put a little bit of Best Ever Craft tape on the back to hold it in place. I can trim that down later. And then I'm going to start my stitches by going from the outside to the center. On the top, we're going to go from each of these holes down here up to the top hole. On the bottom, we're going to do the same and go from each of the 4 smaller holes to the large hole at the very bottom of the ornament. And there is our pretty pink stitched ornament with that gorgeous metallic thread. I wanted to give my ornaments the feel like they were shining, and so I wanted there to be some kind of shine on here, but I'm not really great at coloring things with a gel pen. So I was thinking about my stash, and I remembered the Simon Hurley Birthday Bash collection has these balloons that have little shine marks on them. So I grabbed one of the balloons and I used the rose gold foil that I had left over and cut 2 different shiny pieces for the sides of my ornaments. So now that I have everything die cut out, I can go ahead and put those ornaments together. I was thinking about layering this with another sheet of cardstock, but I really like the way this looks with that nice border that the BetterPress plates have actually created for me. So I'm going to leave it just like this, and I really like the arrangement. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these 2 down with just glue and then pop this one up with dimensional foam adhesive. For this one, I'm actually going to use foam squares instead of strips so that I don't get any foam adhesive behind the holes. Okay, when it comes to the sentiment for this one, I want something really simple, and I'm so lucky that the clear stamp of the month from July 2024 with the coordinating die in this package, I had the exact sentiment that I would want to use in a dark green, so it's absolutely perfect. It's Noel, and then cherish the season below it. So my idea is to put that down here. However, I didn't cut cherish the season just right. It's a bit too short on this side and long on this side. But what I can do is just place my die cut over the top just like this and tape it in place. And you can feel and you can see there that on the back side, my die cut is within the cutting boundaries. And then I can place it exactly where I want it to cut on this end. So then I can run that through my scalp machine. And now I have a sentiment strip that is more evenly placed on the die cut, and I can go ahead and glue that down with the Noel above it. One thing to note is that these sentiments were actually stamped and cut from BetterPress paper so that the colors match perfectly with my background panel too. Before I wrap this up, I'm just going to use 3 of the Coral Coast Sparkletz by Buttons Galore and More just to add a tiny bit of sparkle on those snowflakes on the background. And there is our completed card. I really love that BetterPress background with those beautiful, beautiful ornaments. Such a pretty one. Thanks so much for watching as I created this card using day 10 of the 12 Days of Stitchmas dies. I really, really loved this one. I loved starting with the brand new holiday background panels from Lisa Horton Design. Those BetterPress plates are really, really cool, and even though they're smaller, you can use them on an A2 panel if you're covering out that center point. I then added those colorful baubles, and the stitched one just brought that one in the center over the top. My sentiment was already done for me, but it was absolutely perfect for this card. I really enjoyed this one, and I can't wait to see what day 11 brings. Be sure to check out all of the products that I used to create this card in the video description box below by hitting that More button. Be sure to hit the thumbs up if you liked this video and subscribe if you want to see more of the 12 Days of Stitchmas cards from me. Thanks so much for watching and happy creating!